So we made it through the snow.
Survived snow apocalypse of 2025.
Yeah. Had a lot of snow. Well, a lot for Beaufort. It's all relative, right?
4 inches is a lot of snow. I never got a final, like, what we got.
I think I saw, on the internet somewhere, so I'm sure it's true, that it was 4 inches. So
It's a lot of snow.
Yeah.
For Beaufort, I never thought I'd see that much here. The crazy thing was, though, I expected to go out in the marsh and see dead fish everywhere.
Yeah, and so, I mean, the good news, right, with as cold as it got, firsthand, I didn't see any kind of fish kill.
Personally, firsthand, I have not seen any fish. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
I'm sure there were a few at least.
Doesn't mean there's not isolated places, but I've been all over the place in the areas I fish, and I haven't seen fish floating anywhere.
I haven't either.
So, and I've also seen a lot of live fish.
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of live fish. So
redfish are still plentiful.
Redfish are still there.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm sure it happened somewhere, and I'm sure, but hopefully our trout population's still there. I would have to say for sure the redfish. I mean, I'm seeing the schools just as big as they were before the snow. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dwelling on that a bit much. What water temps? Sorry, you were going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, so before the snowstorm,
yes,
it was just your typical winter fishing. Water had cleared up pretty good. We were fishing big schools, big flats. I think before the snowstorm came in, I was seeing high 40s, 48 to 50 for water temperature. And then you were out not long after the snowstorm. What did you see?
My chart plotter was jumping up and down a little bit, but and at first I thought I saw 40, but I'm pretty sure that was a wrong reading. The lowest I saw was 44. It was like a stable reading, 44.
Yeah.
For the Friday after the snowstorm happened Wednesday, and that Friday when I was on the water, it was 44 is what I saw.
So it really,
then today I saw 50.
Yeah, it was also 69, 70 degrees today.
It was also beautiful out today.
Yeah.
It was like beautiful spring weather today, which is what I love about, we've had a very, everybody up north is going to be like, what are y'all talking about? Well, we've had a very real winter for the low country.
Right.
What I love about our winters is a lot of it's very mild. And yesterday and today were perfect examples. It was like high 60s, beautiful weather, a little windy, but beautiful weather, chasing the schools. I don't know if it was a result of the snowstorm or the big negative tides that we've had. I've definitely seen a disruption in where I've been finding the schools.
Okay, yeah.
And I've also seen lots of smaller groups of fish.
I have too, which is interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know if but it's not. It still seems like it's the same number of fish. It's just instead of all being clumped together, it's maybe like bunches spread around a little. And I've also seen the full schools in there.
Yeah, and I think, at least from what I've been seeing, that kind of varies spot to spot, right?
Yeah,
like
and
some spots,
that's 100% true.
They're smaller schools, they filter in together, they split back apart, and then other spots, it's just the same that it normally is. Just the big school, they're, nose to tail, swimming around.
One other observation I made, the dolphins are really feeding yesterday, today, for whatever reason. Maybe it's the colder water. I don't know. The dolphins are heavily feeding on the redfish. I mean, they've been working them, working those edges, looking for the reds. And I think they eat the trout too, but I've personally seen them harassing the schools of redfish quite a bit. So that's been interesting as well.
Yeah.
Not very helpful for trying to catch the redfish. Yeah. We've still caught them after I've seen the dolphins take swipes at them. But generally, I don't tend to stick around that much. I tend to shorten my time when the dolphins are harassing them like that.
And typically I 100% agree with that. However, Monday I was out with Junior, and we had a really interesting phenomena where, negative low, we're out on this big flat, dolphin patrolling the edge. I mean, just hard patrolling. And we had a big school that were tailing.
Oh, yeah.
Over.
Yeah, Monday we both saw.
Over again.
I don't usually see tailing schools of reds this time of year, but Monday,
Yeah.
we both individually, completely separate schools,
Yeah, different spots.
different spots.
Yeah.
Both of us saw multiple school. I think I saw multiple schools tailing.
Yeah.
On Monday, where like a number of fish in the school were all bringing their tails up, and it was wasn't it cloudy that day?
It was.
It was cloudy that day.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, not to harp on it too much, but the water temp closer to the ocean was 47. And then when I ran further up
Yeah.
towards more fresh water, it dropped 2 degrees to 45. Fish didn't seem to care. Like, for whatever reason, that day, they were still more than happy
More
to
than
eat.
happy. Yeah, they were very happy.
And, but outside of that, I would say that it's been typical winter fishing.
Typical one. Yeah.
Some schools are super spooky, and you're not going to be able to get close to them, or they're just not willing to eat. But other schools, you know, just again,
Gobbling it up.
Hopping
anything,
around.
Anything you throw at them. Like I've been
Yeah.
throwing a lot of electric chicken, thrown razzmatazz recently. We threw some crab flies recently. Like if the schools were happy, they ate.
yeah,
If they weren't, maybe we got a fish to eat out of the school after a number of casts.
yeah,
But like largely, if they're happy, they're eating. If they're not, they're not. And then
yeah.
generally, but that doesn't stay the same. Like next week,
Yeah,
or
it'd be
next
different
week,
schools
yeah, next
that
week
are
the,
happy
this other
and-
school might be happy, and the other one, yeah. So
And so I guess-
and on the fly thing, while I'm on that, you've been throwing.
Tan and olive,
Tan and olive,
a
yeah.
lot. Yeah, that just little slider
Generic,
that I
yeah.
tie. Just keeping it simple. I had an electric chicken on one day. Some fish swam around it. Put on tan and olive. Got some eats. But again, could have been the day. Could have been the school. Who knows? But I guess that being said, you know, if you are out there and you feel like you're hitting your head against the wall and these fish won't eat, don't be afraid to leave fish to find fish.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Well, and that's another thing about fishing. You know, just general etiquette. Don't camp out on the same fish
Yeah.
for hours. Like, fish them, leave them, go somewhere
Yeah,
else.
catch
go
one or two,
Yeah,
go
go
somewhere
somewhere else.
else.
Find someone. Don't beat them up. That's my personal opinion. Don't beat them up. Go find some. You know, fish. Yeah, you found them. You
Yeah.
caught some. Go somewhere else. Find some other fish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
There's
kind of
plenty of fish
yeah,
out
there's
there.
plenty of fish out there. Don't feel like you just got to go fish that same school and once you find and stay camped on them the whole time. I mean, I personally find a lot more joy in the experience, in like going various places, finding various schools, moving around. Like I don't, yeah, just a thought on that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, just keep moving.
Yeah.
So February, going into February,
Hopefully the worst of the winter's passed, and I'm no weatherman, but
I'd be willing to bet that it is.
I'm willing to bet that we won't get 4 inches of snow again.
I would say that's probably a fair assessment.
We might have another decade or two before that one happens again. But yeah, hopefully the worst of the winter weather's passed. Rolling into February, definitely don't foresee any changes. You know, schools are going to be there. Fish, some schools feeding, some not. Some days they're all feeding. You know,
Yeah.
you never know. Looking forward to that. We're both going to make a note. We both like to keep track of our. So day to day, while you're out there looking at like how do we keep track of our trips and the days and what we see. I just use one of these tide logs. Picked this one up at Bay Street Outfitters there in downtown Beaufort. Just tide log. I go in there and just throw in like notes, you know, from day to day, what I saw, water temps, anything that stood out to me, different things like that. But it's just a real easy way to keep track of day-to-day stuff. We are towards the beginning of the year, so there's still time to grab one of those. And I've literally have a stack of them now, just over the years that I've acquired from just notes. And
Yeah, I think you learn a lot doing that because I think not only do you keep a record of it, but it just helps cement whatever you learn that day.
Write
It
it
helps you
down.
remember it.
So I don't have a great
So that way
memory.
next year, yeah,
I'm like,
you can look
what
back
happened?
and-
Yeah, because sometimes
Yeah.
I'll remember, and I have looked back in the past, and definitely been like, oh, where was I fishing this time of year? And or
Yeah.
when I'm not. So you're hitting the wall and like, okay, what I'm doing right now isn't working. What did I do in the past that did work?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I was fishing that area, and I was fishing let me go try that. So
Yeah.
just a thought.
Yeah, definitely a good tool to use and learn some stuff and kind of connect some patterns and stuff. So, But yeah, I think February is going to, it's looking like it's going to be pretty nice. Definitely warmer than the snow we had. I know that I have some openings for February. I would
Got some
imagine you
openings
have
for
some.
February. It's the winter.
Yeah, it's the winter. But that being said, the fishing can still be really
it's
good in
great.
the winter. I love winter fishing.
love
The
winter
water's clear. It's super exciting, very visual. So yeah, if you're interested in getting out and booking a trip with us, we'll have our websites listed somewhere down below, and we'd love to get you out there.